Um, Welcome to the First Friday Entrepreneurship Call with K-State Research and Extension, and also the Rural Partners Call. Our mutual goal is to engage the knowledge, the wisdom, and relationships of the local community with the research and experimentation of the universities to create vital communities. The purpose of these calls is to increase the local community's knowledge about the experts, education, and economic resources available to help businesses and entrepreneurs. And I got that phrase from Eric Peterson, and I think it's a good one. I'm trying to commit it to my own vocabulary. This call is being recorded for future reference, and you can find it at our K-State Research and Extension webpage under the Community, Business, and Entrepreneurship tabs. So welcome everybody, and I need to unmute our speaker, John Gendron, who is the manager of the Referral Center programs, and he's the manager of the Referral Center. And let's see, John Gendron, welcome to our call, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Nancy. I really appreciate the opportunity to share, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Before I dive in to talk about the Network Kansas Referral Center, I wanted to first share a couple of key points about our history. First, the Economic Growth Act of 2004 it called for the creation of a central portal to connect anyone with business-related questions or needs. And second, there were a series of town hall meetings hosted at community colleges throughout the state that invited everyone interested in entrepreneurship to speak out about what they thought was lacking in our entrepreneurship ecosystem. And three themes rose to the top of all this feedback. There was a lack of awareness of many resources offering business building services to entrepreneurs, which makes sense because many of these resources have little or no marketing budget. There was also a lack of awareness for the business-related educational offerings and events, things like workshops, classes, webinars, networking events that regularly take place throughout the state. And finally, the entrepreneurs were having trouble accessing capital. I thought that it would be helpful for me to share the Network Kansas mission statement so that you can see how it relates to these three themes that came about from those town hall meetings. The mission is to promote an entrepreneurial environment throughout the state of Kansas by establishing a central portal that connects entrepreneurs and small business owners with the right resources, expertise, education, and economic resources when they need them. The Network Kansas Referral Center is the central portal that represents the first theme. This is where we're working to help create awareness for the resources throughout the state that offer the valuable and oftentimes free services to anyone doing business in Kansas. Network Kansas referral coordinators are available to the public Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. This is a free service of the Kansas Center for Entrepreneurship, and there are resources that are accessible in all of the 105 Kansas counties, and there is assistance available at all stages of the business life cycle. Now, I wanted to walk you through a simplified version of the process that we use in the Referral Center to ensure that we connect the people that contact Network Kansas with the right resource at the right time. So first, when we're contacted, we conduct what we call a listen and learn. This is an opportunity for us to talk in depth about their current situation and identify specific needs. Once those needs are confirmed with the caller, we will conclude that call and begin conducting research on their behalf. This is where we're looking into that resource network of over 500 professionals offering various services, and we're wanting to identify the specific individual that can best assist with that particular need. Once we identify that professional, we first call them to confirm that they are in fact able to assist. And once we get that confirmation, we can then reconnect with the caller, furnish specific contact information and facilitate that connection. Depending on what it is that they're working to accomplish would determine the amount of time before we would follow up with them. This is an opportunity for us to reconnect, ensure that they did in fact get what it is that they were after, and it creates an opportunity for us to essentially continue walking them through the business life cycle. Now, some entrepreneurs prefer this hand-holding approach, and others prefer just to check in whenever they need something. The statewide business-related class and event calendar represents the second theme. Lack of awareness of the many workshops, webinars, events, and anything business-related. And I wanted to invite the audience to share any business-related classes or events that you become aware of in your part of the state with us at the referral center so that we can ensure that it's featured on this calendar. Now, you are absolutely able to walk through the step-by-step process and learn how to post these things on your own, but keep in mind that we'll gladly get everything posted to the calendar for you. The gap funding tools that were created and deployed by Network Kansas are working to help remedy the third theme and make it easier for Kansas entrepreneurs and small business owners to access capital. These options are designed to complement traditional funding sources and never compete with them. This is the Network Kansas KS eShip mobile app. It's essentially a virtual referral coordinator. I would encourage everyone on the call today to download this app. It's available on Android and Apple, and I would encourage you to play around with it for a little bit because I would love to hear your feedback as we work to refine this tool that's available to all of the entrepreneurs and professional resources in Kansas. In the app, you can access all the resources as well as the statewide event calendar. You can even answer a questionnaire to direct you to the most appropriate gap funding tool for a particular project. I believe this is going to be a very useful tool, and I look forward to hearing from you about it. With regard to who should contact Network Kansas, you may assume that aspiring and existing entrepreneurs and small business owners would be the only groups contacting us, but we are also connected regularly from professional resources on behalf of their clients. Also, they would reach out to share updates on their programs, make us aware of any classes or events that they may be hosting or are aware of, or even just to update contact information. So you may also wonder, why would people contact Network Kansas specifically? These are some of the examples as to why people would reach out to the referral center. If you read through the bullets on the left and then the right, you'll notice that they are organized to give examples at all stages of the business life cycle. When you look at these local resources and common connections, you may very well be familiar with every type of resource in this list. But that's rarely the case for the majority of aspiring existing business owners throughout the state. Oftentimes, they don't realize that there's a small business development center network or a local SCORE chapter. They may not realize that there is local and statewide license requirements, or that they're able to bypass services like LegalZoom in order to set up an LLC, for example. It seems to be quite overwhelming for the early stage entrepreneurs to navigate the Department of Revenue, the IRS, Department of Labor. They may not see the value in maintaining an account with the Kansas Business Center, and they may not understand the purpose of an economic development director or the value of a chamber membership. And oftentimes they don't even know that certified development companies are an option. When you take a look at these examples of statewide resources and specialty assistance, you can imagine how challenging it is for entrepreneurs and small business owners to be aware and up to date on these many resources offering these business building services throughout the state of Kansas. And so just remember that you don't have to be an expert on all aspects of the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Kansas. Just remember that Network Kansas is there for you anytime you have business related questions or needs. This is the variety of ways that you can connect with us. The most popular is the toll-free hotline. Next is email. You can reach out anytime. Oftentimes, if we're available, we'll even respond after hours. One thing I wanted to point out was the live chat feature on the Network Kansas website. You can communicate directly with us through normal business hours, and we're also available on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And again, I would encourage everyone to download the mobile application, and I would really love to see feedback from everyone. So I appreciate your time today. This is my direct contact information. If there's ever anything that I can do to help, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, John. Okay, this is our time for questions. And just unmute yourselves to ask a question. If you need any help with that, give me a nod in the chat box. I'm monitoring that. As we go along, we're working out how to do these things. I noticed some of you folks are introducing yourself in the chat box, and I think that's fun. Imogene Harris has joined us from Network Kansas. Imogene was the host of the Rural Kansas group, and welcome, Imogene. I see that you've joined us now. So I'll be quiet now, and let's ask John your questions and find out what you need to know.
Hey, John, it's Randy Collett in Marion. How are you today?
Doing well, Randy. How are you today?
Doing good. Listen, one of the things that I struggle with sometimes is it sort of feels like the Small Business Development Center that I use on the campus of Emporia State and the Referral Center sort of are duplicate in services. Can you help me understand the distinction and why I should use both?
Sure. The Small Business Development Center is absolutely experienced and knowledgeable, and I don't want to get in the way of connections that are being made there. The Small Business Development Center is an example of the many different types of resources where they're offering free business consulting throughout the state. And so we are set up to make connections to all of the various resources. And so an example of how a development center would use the referral center is they may send their clients to us in order to get help setting their business up to be legal in Kansas. They may want help establishing the legal structure, getting set up to pay taxes, addressing all the licensing concerns, things like that. Oftentimes there are also other reasons why a development center may find it more efficient for them to just save time by sending folks that are not necessarily a good fit for their office to us. Let us conduct that listen and learn and make the appropriate connections, because oftentimes there's more than one referral being made at a time. Does that help clarify?
Yeah, it does.
So we're basically like a free extension of their staff. And so they can utilize us to get people where they've got to go so that they can focus more on the one-on-one consulting.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
What other questions are there? I'd like to also open it up for, if you don't have any other questions, or if you think of questions and want to get back to John, I'd like to open it up for any questions you might have for others. David Key and I were talking yesterday, and he asked me a question, and I said, you know, David, that would be a good question for the group. David, are you there? I'll unmute you.
Yeah, and now I can't remember what the question was.
It was about customer service.
Oh, yes. Nancy and I had a conversation yesterday. A local community in my 3-county area is wanting to provide some customer service type training to the local businesses, the retail businesses in their town. And their goal is to try to reach the people that are at the sales counter. Usually that's the first contact when people come into a local food restaurant or convenience store or something like that. And they ask them questions first about their community or events or town. And they are looking at some way to provide some training. They wanted to bring people together and have a formal sit-down training, but they're discovering that feasibly that's something the businesses can't do unless we pay their salary as well, because it's you know how retail is, it's tight margins and stuff. So we're trying to find and identify some type of maybe an online training or something like that that they could enroll their employees in or take using their smartphones or at a computer. The business or the community that wants to do this was really looking at taking some of their promotional dollars that they get from sales tax revenue there in town to kind of offset that expense for the employees to do that, just to make their town better. I'm trying to help, Nancy and I have been trying to help them figure out maybe a good next step for that. Is there anything there that we can do with Network Kansas?
That sounds like an opportunity for us to converse after the call more in depth about what you've got going on, to let us look into it a little further and see what kind of opportunities may come about. Would you like to set something up?
Oh, sure.
If you would like, my email address is on the screen. I would encourage you to send me a note and I could get the ball rolling for you.
Okay.
We had understood, or we thought we'd heard that there was such a thing available already on the travel and tourism site.
Yeah, but I haven't been able to find it there, so.
And David, you posted a question. Would you like to ask that to John, please? About the calendar posts?
Yeah, how do we get notified when items are added to that calendar? Do we just have to go back to the calendar every time, or is there a way that the notices come out or reminders to look at that calendar or something?
There are currently no notifications that are going to alert you from the calendar directly. I tend to utilize my Gmail calendar and set alerts personally that way. But basically, the statewide calendar is an opportunity for us to help promote the various resources in the network and also the business-related events that are taking place. And so having a location where all of that can be found and the ability for all of us to contribute toward it is valuable, but I would have to check with the programmers to see if it would be possible to incorporate a notification type of system.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just curious, so.
Yeah. And Andigal adds that partners are adding classes almost every day, so that would probably be an annoying notification.
Yeah, that would be. I was just thinking maybe a reminder on Facebook once in a while or something.
Yeah.
If you follow the Network Kansas team on social media, Twitter, for example, we're oftentimes sending out alerts of upcoming classes and offerings. So if there's one or some in particular that you wanted to ensure that were shared, you could always just let me know, and I would gladly help to promote those on social media for you.
Okay.
Great. Who has something to share? Okay, well, silence reigns. So I will draw us to a close then, and just know that in the future we're really hoping that people will share across. The Rural Partners had a great tradition of sharing what they were doing, so everybody knew. So we are happy to have that sharing done, and our next call is on, oh gosh, the first Friday of October, and our speaker is Holly Schletzbaum from Kansas Global Trade Services, and her topic is going to be worldwide marketing. So I hope you can join us in October. Thanks everybody for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep, thanks.
And I have a little thought for the day. I'm reminded the thought for the day is start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. And supposedly Arthur Ashe said that. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.
You too, Nancy.